As you'll all know, this week is hashtag Mental Health Awareness Week 2020. And I want to interview somebody who's a really close pal of mine. In fact, so close, I know everything he says is going to be absolutely bang on. And I can guarantee that. And I'm the only person in the world who can guarantee that. Because the other person I'm going to interview is Big Phil. Welcome to the set, Big Phil. Cheers, Phil. You know they say the first sign of madness is speaking to yourself, isn't it? They do say that, Phil, they do. And back in the day, you was a proper nutter, weren't you? Mate, I've had my moment tonight, as you well know. Alright, jokes aside then, buddy. Give me a rundown of how you perceive mental health now. Mental health to me now, I see as a massive thing. And you can sort of like look back in the day and you can say to yourself, well, you know, if I knew what I know now, things might have been different. But what I like to do is flip that on its head and take the experiences I had and tell people how I felt, so that they hopefully now will act in a different way to what I did. And if it was taboo in the normal army, what was it like when you got in the regiment? When I was in the regiment, it was taboo. It was something you didn't really want to talk about, through fear of not being used on other stuff. If you go sick with a mental health problem, in those days it was like people, really, I'm not taking him, there's something wrong, he's damaged, it ain't good. I get that. And was there ever a time when you thought, yeah, I've got problems. I really have got some problems here. Yeah, there was. And not just in the regiment as well, before in children's homes, I'd had sort of like feelings of, you know, anger and stuff like that, which nowadays, you know, I've been told many times before that I'd have probably been classed as ADHD and all that sort of stuff. You weren't pigeonholed like that in our day. So you weren't conditioned to think about mental health. But going back to what you said, yeah, I had some problems when I was in the regiment. And I didn't feel like I could speak to anybody about it. And that made the problem worse. So what were your actual feelings? I'm not going to go into what your problems were, but how did you feel? I felt alone. I felt trapped. And there was a stage when I was in the regiment where I really should have been performing a lot better than what I was. And I was going to bed in the afternoons. I was drinking. So I was beginning to see signs and symptoms of what today would be classed probably as serious mental health problems. But I was ignoring them because I didn't want to go into the interest room and say to my sergeant major, I've got problems. Because he could just cart me back off to my normal army unit. I didn't want that. I wanted to stay where I was. So what you're saying is, in your mind, if you didn't say nothing, if you clammed up, if you kept it inside, you'd be alright because you'd keep your job. So what makes you think you can talk about it now? Well, look, Phil, things have changed. And although talking about it now is still difficult, because people are going to go, no, all the trouble you've had in life, Phil, you're just trying to blame it on this and blame it on that. I'm not. I'm in a position now where I realise, okay, I seriously realise that had I identified it earlier, it would have the opposite effect to what it actually had. So, I didn't admit to mental health in the regiment, I ended up getting out under a bit of a cloud. I then took that into Civvy Street, thinking, oh, right, okay, not a problem. Keep your mouth shut, don't explain anything again, keep going, because otherwise you're unemployable. And once I was in Civvy Street, I seriously thought, oh my God, if I say anything, I can't get a job. And if I can't get a job, I can't feed my family. So it continued, and continued, and continued, to the point where I ended up on remand in Winchester Prison. Now, then I had a conversation similar to the one I'm having now. I spoke to myself in prison. Phil, sort yourself out. I remember the conversation, Phil, and I remember you were in an absolute shit state. You were sat in prison, you were behind bars, you were uncertain of your future, you were that low you could have got under a snake's belly with a top hat on. Listen, mate, it was after that conversation that I decided things had to change for me, seriously. I came out, I spoke to people, I confided in people, I spoke to Wendy about stuff, first of all. Now, I believe I pretty much always have had to sort of cure myself. I just now feel that if I had have spoke earlier, things would have been so much easier for me. And that you know, nowadays, it wouldn't have an effect on your future. People wouldn't be sacking you for recognising mental health. But bottle it up and do something stupid, and you might do something that is irreversible. And so that for me is when I decided, right, I've got to speak about this, I've got to get it out in the open, I've got to let people know, and I've got to promote that people need to speak about their mental health. It's okay to say. It's all right for me to be saying stuff. What is a problem is if I keep it bottled up and I go into the dark side. That is where the problems are going to all begin. And the hardest thing, getting like I am now, in front of somebody and speaking. So I could talk about this all day, Phil. I really, really could. If you have one message you could say to anyone, not just young soldiers, anyone who feels they're having issues now, what would your message be? That's the easiest question all afternoon, mate. Speak out. Speak out. And speak out. You can't change something if nobody knows about it. People can't fix things that they don't know aren't broke. Do you know what I mean? It's impossible. Speak out. If you've got problems, we know what the symptoms are. Over drinking, aggressiveness, any change in feeling, emotion, could all be signs that there's something not quite right. And it's all stuff that can be put right. You just need to say about something. If you don't talk about it, if you bottle it up, all the things you think you're going to avoid by bottling it up are going to happen. And that has happened to my detriment more than once in my lifetime. Okay, Phil, that's an intriguing, honest insight into how mental health has affected you. Certainly, you know, I hope that by me interviewing you, people will see this and people will understand what you've been through. And moreover, learn from your mistakes, because as you know, I've been doing stuff with the Army cadets, with young recruits and all that sort of stuff. And if they can learn a little bit from what I've done, from what you've done, that's a massive bonus, a massive bonus. And I've always said many times that had I known what I know today then, my life would have been completely different and probably a lot easier. And I might have even achieved a little bit more. But that isn't possible, all right? So if young people can just listen to the advice that you give, the advice that I give, and the advice that all these other people that have made mistakes in their lives can give, it's going to be one hell of an easier ride for them. Thanks for coming this afternoon, buddy. I'm sure I'll bump into you somewhere again, and I'm pretty sure we'll probably get you on the show again. All right, but for now, keep doing what you're doing, and I'll see you later. Listen in, you lot, seriously, before I go, it's okay to say, please, 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 if you have problems with your mental health, if you're not feeling the full ticket, the whole shilling, the complete crate, go and sort it out, please. You'll thank yourself. You don't need to thank me, you'll thank yourself. Right, I'm out of here, buddy. If you're not feeling the full ticket, get and sort it out, please. Right, now this.